evening, everybody. Al McCann greeting you from Edmonton. And you know, in all the years I've covered football, I don't think I have ever seen a better weather evening for a game. It is absolutely glorious here in the Alberta capital. And why not? It's a big game. Saskatchewan and Edmonton. They're talking about a crowd approaching 50,000 to watch these two teams battling to break out of a tie for third place. I think it's going to be just outstanding. Now it's my pleasure to take you up to the booth to meet our other commentators, Dale Isaac, and the old Hall of Famer himself, Frank Rigney.
Thank you, Al. And yes, the Hall of Famer is with us. Frank, we're so proud for you. Congratulations again. I trust the weekend in Hamilton was a great one for you.
It was fabulous, Dale, and a very special thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. They just did an outstanding job. It was an excellent weekend. But let's get to the ball game.
All right. About tonight's game, the best news of the week for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the return of Ray Elgard to the lineup. They didn't know if he was going to be able to play, but he made the trip, and he's in the lineup tonight. And, boy, are they glad to have this guy back. He's had an outstanding season so far. In his first 5 games, he was averaging 127 yards per game in pass receiving yardage. He, of course, missed last week's game in Ottawa, as did quarterback Joe Powpow. And you'll recall what happened to the Saskatchewan offense then. But they're glad to have Elgard back. And I know the Eskimos are glad to have Matt Dunnigan back at the controls.
That's the good news for them, Dale, because there was some question whether Matt was going to be able to play tonight. He has a strained muscle in the right side of his neck, and as you can see, he's going to be wearing a neck brace tonight. He is a very integral part, of course, of this Edmonton offense. He can run with the football, as we all know. He was the leading rusher in 1984 for the Eskimos. He's only 7th in the league right now in rushing department, but it's his throwing ability and his scrambling ability to buy time to throw that football that's so very, very important to the Edmonton Eskimos. This is not a great offensive football team without Matt Dunnigan, so they certainly welcome him back. The winner of tonight's ball game moves into second place.
This CFL telecast is brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you.
To rise and join with Paul Lorio in the singing of our national anthem, O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all the sun's command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, a true north strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Paul. And sitting in the
John Ireland is the head referee tonight, and you see the lineup, the best of his crew. And while we just have a second here, we'd like to pass along a big hello to a member of the CFL officiating staff, Ed Dunn, who recently had surgery and is recuperating in a Hamilton hospital. John Ireland and his crew, along with our CTV crew, pass along best wishes to Ed Dunn for a speedy recovery. Matt Dunnigan will start the ball game tonight for the Edmonton Eskimos. He, of course, was injured in the game in Toronto 2 weeks ago, and the Eskimos haven't played since then, and they ended up losing that contest.
Dale, it was interesting. I saw a stat today about teams that have come off of a 2-week layoff, which, of course, the Eskimos are doing. They haven't really had that much success. They're just over 500. I think it's something like 7-6-1. So that layoff has not been particularly productive to ball clubs.
It'll be the Eskimos to kick off this one from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Young Tom Dixon from his own 45, who punches it to the near side to Michael Elarms, and number 80 on the return. Leo Blanchard, number 59, is there to bring Elarms down the middle of the field at the 15-yard line. A return of only 7 yards after a kickoff of 57. So the Saskatchewan offense comes onto the field and they have to start deep in their own end. And Homer Jordan, of course, number 8, gets his second straight start in the absence of the injured Joe Pau, who was off to such a great start in 1985 and then suffered what turned out to be a very serious calf injury. First down, Saskatchewan. We're just underway. Ellis and Ken Moore line up in the I behind Jordan. Line of scrimmage, the Saskatchewan 15. The Riders lead the league in passing after the first 7 weeks, and they come out throwing to Ellis coming out of the backfield, and he has a pickup of about 6 yards, driven out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 21-yard line. Homer Jordan,
number 1 and number 2 receivers in the entire Canadian Football League with the Riders, of course.
Jordan completion rate is right at 62%. Although he had some problems in Ottawa last week, the team just hasn't been able to put the ball in the end zone. Right now they're looking at 2nd down and 4. They force Jordan to step up. Dives to the 20-yard line. 25-yard line, I'm sorry. He should have the first down as they mark it at the 26.
That's going to be very close, Dale, but as you look at Jack Otta, looking at his young quarterback, actually the same experience as Matt Dunnigan, but certainly not the same performance so far. You get the feeling that Homer must run with that football to really be effective. Taking off with it like he did right there, I think, will loosen that defense up just a little bit.
Frank, it's also interesting to watch that new front 3. Not really new, but just reacquainted, we might say. Skip Hamilton back in at nose tackle for the Eskimos. That, of course, brought about by the big injury that occurred to Brent Murphy.
It's 1st and 10, Saskatchewan. The ball at their own 26. Craig Ellis does a nice job of gaining yards when it looked like he might be trapped in the backfield by Tom Tuanay, but Ellis gets it out to the 31 for a gain of 5.
Well, that's one time that the overreaction by the defense actually helped the offense. Tom Tuanay, you'll see him right here, gets really deep penetration on that rush, and as he does, Craig Ellis makes a fine cut back up to the inside. The gain is about 5 yards, and a fine run by the leading receiver in the Canadian Football League, Craig Ellis.
Ellis just averaging 3.5 yards per carry. That time he got over 5. Jordan with the deep drop, then going for Elgard, and the big guy makes the catch for the first down, stays on his feet, and is finally stopped at the 41-yard line. Delorier, the safety, finally brought him down, but it takes more than one usually. It's another first down, Saskatchewan.
Certainly showing no ill effects from that sprained ankle. Elgard just down and a little curl to the inside. Watch James Bell, now 17, just get shrugged right off the big guy. That's what they claim is his biggest asset, Dale, the fact that he is so strong in running with that football after he catches it.
Coming into this ball game, he's 3rd in the CFL in pass receiving yardage. The 41, the give to Ellis. Needs a couple of blocks. He doesn't get him. James Bell from the halfback position moves up to cut him down for a loss of a couple back at the 39.
What a great defensive play as you see both offensive guards coming out to the right side. It looked like the Saskatchewan Roughriders might be able to turn it up inside, but great pursuit from inside by the Edmonton Eskimos. The play a little slow in developing. Watch as the defense reacts to the outside. Great play by Bell.
Nobody there to block Bell, so it's a loss of 2, 2nd down and 12 for the Riders, 39-yard line. The draw play, the Craig Ellis. He's to the 50-yard line where he's pinned by James Bell. Looked like Ellis slipped more than anything else, and he'll be about a yard short of the first down.
Watch this big hole open up as you see Ellis come up the middle there. That's Danny Bass that they get just a piece of at that middle linebacking spot. But as Craig made that cut, he did slip a bit. Looked like Willie Thomas was lost a little bit in there, the offensive center for the Riders, as he didn't pick up anyone. It's 3rd and less than a yard, and the Riders are going to gamble here early in the first quarter.
Big play right here on the opening drive of the ball game. Riders 3rd down. Craig Ellis. I don't know, maybe second effort might have got it for him, but he was hit again by James Bell, who got in there.
He got it
from the right side. of the offense, and he didn't really get a good hit on Ellis. Ellis was able to slide forward, and it looks like he's close enough to the first down to get a measurement anyway. But I'm not so sure he got it.
Well, the official on this side of the field had it spotted a little further up. I think you might be right, Dale. It's going to be extremely close.
Some members of the Eskimo offense have moved onto the field.
Less than a football either way.
They haven't stretched the chain out. Now they do. Any part of the football? I think he just got it. Woo.
Whoa, ho, ho, ho. What a turning point that could be so early in the ball game. Watch the second effort by Craig Ellis. That is for sure what got this first down. He's hit, boom, right at the line of scrimmage and manages to stumble forward with that spin. Picks up a first down at the 51-yard line of the Riders.
Riders started from their own 15.
He's outside.
Craig Ellis. He has another first down before he's forced out of bounds by Cliff Tony and Mark Jackson.
Well, the Eskimos just cannot afford to do this. Watch the defensive end on the right side come down to the inside. The linebacker goes back in pass coverage, and Jordan goes right to the outside. Absolutely no pressure on him at all. He could have taken off with this football and gained at least as much as he did pick up right there. Tourné took an inside route, and there was nobody helping him to the outside.
Well, last week in Ottawa, Homer Jordan took the opening drive, and they ended up moving it downfield, but they're looking for touchdowns in this ball game, something they haven't been able to do. Jordan on the run being pursued by Stuart Hill through a short run. It didn't get to Michael Elarms, the intended receiver, so it'll be second down and 10. The ball is at the Edmonton 48-yard line.
Obviously better containment there by the Eskimos, and the linebackers really are a big feature of that Eskimo defense. Stuart Hill, John Daly, Bass, of course, the leader of that unit, and Dave McNeil, who a former BC Lion, playing that outside spot. Boy, that safety spot has been a starter right from day one in the Canadian Football League, and a great asset to the Eskimos.
Second and 10. Jordan puts it up deep to Stephan Jones. He was open, makes the catch at the 2-yard line. Big play, Saskatchewan, 46 yards. Stephan Jones had to wait for the ball because he was a good 5 yards in behind Mark Jackson when the ball actually was thrown.
Bill, how many times have we seen that over the years when the ball is underthrown, the offensive man able to react quicker than the defensive player because he's looking back to the football. We're 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Edmonton has not yet seen the football, and they've used up almost 6 minutes and 10 offensive plays as they have a first down at the 2-yard line.
Big play, Stephan Jones, Riders first and goal from the 2-yard line. Craig Ellis, touchdown Saskatchewan.
Impressive drive.
Took them 11 plays and 6 minutes from the opening kickoff, and Ellis puts it in the end zone. The big play, of course, Jones timing his leap beautifully at the 2-yard line.
Danny Ferdinand, I should say, in there leading the block on the play.
You know, Frank, a key play in that drive, of course, was the gaining the first down at the 50-yard line. Some coaches might have punted.
Right you are. But this drive has to be a confidence builder for Saskatchewan. They've taken a 7-0 lead over the Eskimos, and we'll be back in just a moment.
The Riders, as they kept the ball for just over 6 minutes.
You know what a key for the Riders was, too, besides the third down gamble? No penalties. They are the most penalized team in the league, but they didn't have one on that drive. Here's the kickoff by Ridgway, and Chris Skinner on the return, number 35. And Skinner does a good job of coming back out to the 30-yard line. A return of 21 yards by the Eskimos' second-year man out of Bishops.
Let's take a look at that Eskimo offense now. Milson, Jones, and Collins, both good runners on that offensive backfield, and they can come out of that backfield. But Woods, Kelly, and House, that's really the key to this football club, and that's the people Dunnigan will be looking for primarily. Blake Dermott may be in for a big night. He's playing against Rick Goltz, and he might have his hands full. Goltz is 63.
8 minutes and 40 seconds left in first quarter, and this is the Eskimos' first possession. He quickly finds Rick House, and he just stepped out of bounds after being hit by Eddie Ray Walker, number 2. So the gain is only 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 7. Line of scrimmage is the Eskimo 30-yard line. That is offensive line coach Jim Gilstrap and his troops, along with Craig Ellis.
Obviously, as it always is, pressure on the quarterback the key. The Riders are second in the league in sacks with 26, and here they come.
Got away from the initial rush. Finds Larry Cowan for a first down in front of Darrell Toussaint at the 44-yard line. And I believe that was Billy Jackson who just missed getting the sack that time, and it turns into a gain of 11.
Both Cowan and Jones, as I mentioned, can come out of that backfield for those quick swings. And also Neil Lumsden, when he's in there, is very effective at that. They don't really have any breakaway receivers coming out of that backfield like Craig Ellis, but they can pick up those short gains.
Here's Cowan. Hand off across the 45. He's out to about the 48-yard line for a gain of 4. Doolin was in on the tackle. Of course, Doolin, a part of that front three, referred to as the good, the bad, and the ugly for Saskatchewan, with Rick Moore and Rick Goltz and Gary Doolin.
I read that too, Dale. I think I'll let you make the comment on who the good, bad, and particularly the ugly is.
All right, now, second down and 6 for Saskatchewan. Dunnigan coming inside to Rick House, and he should have a first down.
Rick Moore jumped offside, but it was not called. There has not been a penalty yet in this ball game, Dale, I don't believe.
You know, Frank and Dale, I talked to Matt Dunnigan in the dressing room when he was being taped up prior to the game. His neck is bothering him more than he would like one to believe. He took a couple of real shots in that last game, and apparently there's a lot of pain involved. But he's a very gritty person. He says he'll play. He's all right.
Back-to-back first downs for the Eskimos. They're now at the Saskatchewan 53. Dunnigan quickly to Rick House, and he is stood up and wrestled to the ground by Billy Jackson. They'll spot the ball near the Saskatchewan 48, pick up as close to 5 yards. And there is that defensive line of the Riders.
Bill, we talked about the linebackers of the Eskimos. The linebackers with Saskatchewan are maybe the most mobile in the entire Canadian Football League. Eddie Lowe, easily the best range from that inside spot. And Kelly and Jackson excellent on the outside.
Bruce Miller at the top of the screen there is the newcomer replacing Terry Irvin for this ball game. Tell you more about Miller. The draw play to Larry Cowan, and he stopped at about the 44 by Billy Jackson again, helped out by Rick Moore. And the Eskimos are looking at third down and about a yard.
You know, that play actually went to the left side, and watch how far Jackson has to come across. Like a good football player, he came across, but then he came down the line of scrimmage to get that pursuit and make the stop. It's a long way to come for a linebacker, and he read the play and came down the inside. Good play.
It's third down and a little bit more than a yard for the Eskimos at the Saskatchewan 44. Dunnigan to Neil Lumsden, and he should have the fumble, and the Riders have got the football. Lumsden had first down yardage, and I don't know who made the hit over on the far side, possibly Fran McDermott. And the ball popped loose, and I think McDermott made the recovery.
Well, let's take a closer look at it. Neil definitely had the first down on this play. It looked like number 48, Cedric Kelly, was the one that put him down. Let's take a look from the end zone camera. Watch for 48. Well, no, it was the fellow from the outside. Who was that, Dale?
I think it was Eddie Ray Walker, number 2, came dashing in there.
Definitely was a defensive back.
And the ball pops loose. Saskatchewan puts a stop to the Eskimo drive with the fumble recovery by Fran McDermott. First down, Saskatchewan, their own 39. Riders lead. And Homer Jordan just got rid of that one. Stuart Hill had a hold of him. It'll be second down and 10.
Well, as you can hear, fans here in Commonwealth Stadium are not happy with the call here. They think Jordan threw it away, but I don't. I think that was a good call by the officials and a good play by the young quarterback.
Michael Elarms, the wide receiver, was in the area. So it's second down and 10.
Jordan's thrown only 68 times so far this year with a 62% completion average, but he has thrown 5 interceptions versus 2 touchdowns.
Jordan Elam's coming back to the football, has a first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at their own 54-yard line. Darryl Hall providing the coverage, but it's tough on a defensive back when the quarterback can roam like that and the receiver starts coming back to the ball.
Nothing Hall could do about it at all. Just an excellent throw.
He had driven the defender deep and then came back towards the line of scrimmage and picks up 14 and another first down, Saskatchewan.
These Riders look like they want to move into second place, don't they?
Well, I know their offense was taking a lot of heat in Saskatchewan after last week's showing in Ottawa. First down. Middle screen. Craig Ellis has a couple of blockers in front of him. Craig Ellis is to the Eskimo 40-yard line. Dave McNeil in on the tackle, number 37, along with Delorier, the safety.
I want you to take a look at Skip Hamilton, number 58, the big fella, 280 pounds at that middle guard. That ball is thrown almost right to him, and he doesn't see Craig Ellis catch the football. Stop it right there, or go ahead forward. Forward just a little bit. Stop it right there. There he is, right with Craig Ellis. He never sees Ellis with the football.
Turns into a gain of 17 yards. Saskatchewan back into Edmonton territory at the 40. First down. Jordan going deep for Stephen Jones. He's open. Cannot get to it in the end zone. It just missed. Boy, he got in behind the defender by a long shot.
Mark Jackson again. And that time, if the ball would have floated just a bit more, I think he could have caught up with it and had his second big reception of the first quarter of this ball game. Just 3:35 remains in the first quarter. Saskatchewan ahead 7-0.
Stephen Jones making the big catch in that opening drive, which put the ball at the Edmonton 2, and then Craig Ellis took it in. Jones splits out wide to the right side. This is second down and 10 from the Edmonton 40. The draw play. Ellis gets to about the 34-yard line. Daly and Bass team up to put the stop on him, and it gets him in better field goal position now as Dave Ridgway trots on, as the Riders look at third down and about 5. Field goal attempt will be a 41-yarder.
Ridgway number 2 in scoring in the CFL with 64 points coming into tonight's ball game.
Another important change for the Riders for this game. Mark Ernest activated. He is the center now on these long snaps. The Riders were having all kinds of trouble earlier in the season. High snap. Stewie Fraser gets it down. The kick is up. It is wide to the right. And it'll be Delorier giving up a single point. So the Riders now have an 8-0 lead over the Eskimos with 2:50 remaining in the opening quarter.
And about there, did not have good possession of the ball. I'll bet he knew it.
Nice coaching now. All right.
Riders lead it on a touchdown by Ellis and a conversion by Ridgway and a single by Ridgway and a missed field goal, and the Eskimos are 1st and 10 from their own 35. Their opening drive ended with Lumsden fumbling. Now here's Dunnigan at work again. Wide open for him to take off. He fumbles the ball, but it goes out of bounds. And the Eskimos will maintain possession and pick up a first down on the play.
Just a great block by Larry Cowan. I believe this is Cowan right here, number 31. Watch as he blocks down to the inside, giving the whole left side open for Dunnigan to come to the outside. He picks off Billy Jackson and lets Dunnigan run out there absolutely free.
Fran McDermott with the hit. You see the ball popping loose, and it just rolls out of bounds before a Saskatchewan player, Jerry Friesen, could touch it.
Well, you don't get a block like that from your backs very often on active linebackers like the Riders have.
First down, Eskimos, just across their own 45-yard line. Dunnigan looking for Marco Sinkar. He makes the catch. First down. He threw it just over the linebacker, Billy Jackson. Zone coverage. First down, Edmonton, Saskatchewan 46, and a pickup of 19 yards.
Well, I talked about Rick Goltz and the pressure he might put on. Watch him. He's number 63. He gets to Matt this time, but just a little bit late. Goltz about as good as anybody at rushing a passer from that inside spot. Look at the quick move he makes. Has to go through 2 people, and he gets Dunnigan just as he releases the football.
He's wide open for Sinkar, and a good throw from Dunnigan. Dunnigan looking for Brian Kelly. Touchdown, Edmonton. Kelly beats Eddie Ray Walker on the corner.
Well, Dale, we talked about Eddie Ray Walker and Bruce Miller being the Corners' former teammates, as a matter of fact, at Southern Mississippi, but they are inexperienced, and Dunnigan said, we're going to go to their weak spots, try to beat those people on the outside. He does it very easily, a 46-yard touchdown pass to the howdy-doody man, Brian Kelly.
And Kelly has just tied a club record, which we'll tell you about after Tom Dixon, out of the hole by Matt Dunnigan, converts the major score. And Brian Kelly tying the club record for most career receptions, 426. The stands right now. And it's 8-7 for the Riders. We'll be back in just a moment.
The receiving end of Edmonton's Irish connection, and I think we got a barn burner, Dale.
You're right about that, as Kelly ties Tommy Scott's club record, 426 receptions, and puts it in the end zone. 75-yard drive for the Eskimos for the major. Saskatchewan's had a 95-yard drive for a major, and they lead it 8-7. And they have the edge in first downs. And the Eskimos to kick off. Elarms about the 6-yard line. Hit hard and dropped at about the 22, and that was McNeil, number 37, who got through there to put the solid hit on Elarms, a return of 17.
There's always a wonder in BC why Dave McNeil didn't get any playing time, but just because there were better people in front of him, they've always thought he was good enough to play in this league, and he's showing it with hits like that. Oh.
McNeil, number 37, out of Missouri. In that linebacking core, along with Danny Bass, John Daly, and Stuart Hill.
And for the ladies in the audience, he looks a bit like Burt Reynolds.
Jordan on the move. Penalty marker is down, and that's the first time tonight we've seen a flag. Jordan got out to about the 26-yard line. And it looks like they'll bring this one back, holding the call against Saskatchewan. Would have been about a 4 or 5 yard gain for Homer Jordan. Well, this will push them back inside their own 20-yard line. All the way back to the 12.
Holding. Saskatchewan, number 68. First down repeated.
And now 20 yards to go. Saskatchewan and Edmonton coming into this ball game almost equal in point production through the first 6 games of the season. 150 and 151. The Eskimos with the edge. Saskatchewan has a 1-point lead in this ball game. Jordan with the draw to Ellis. Big opening. Ball is loose, but I think the Riders got it back. Either Ellis or guard Neil Quiller got there, along with Ken Moore. And he picks up 15 of those 20 yards on first down. So the Riders in a good situation now, looking at 2nd and 5.
Excellent block by Roger Aldag, 44, the veteran left offensive guard. They opened a couple of holes for Ellis's ball game.
Aldag playing his 138th consecutive game for the Riders. And of course, he was voted by the CFL defensive line players in the league as the outstanding offensive lineman last year, although he didn't get an all-star vote. Ray Elgard, his second catch of the ball game, gives Saskatchewan another first down at their own 42-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing, that's great quarterbacking as well by Homer Jordan. He stepped back in that pocket, saw a little bit of pressure from the outside, and took that 1 or 2 steps up to the inside, helping out his offensive line. And Elgard was behind the linebackers and is smart enough to find that hole in the zone. And a great first down for the Riders as they started off 1st and 20. This should be the last play of the first quarter. We got an 8-7 ball game so far.
No lack of offense so far by the Riders either. Their 3rd possession of the game. This time he fakes the draw. Penalty marker is down, and Homer Jordan is down. Stuart Hill got there first, helped out by Skip Hamilton back at the 29. And we do have a flag on the play holding the indication against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, that'll be declined.
They'll take the sack and get the call from referee John Ireland.
Holding.
That'll do it. That'll end the first quarter. At the end of the opening quarter here in Edmonton, Saskatchewan has an 8-7 lead over the Eskimos. We'll be back for 100 yards in net offense in that opening quarter.
That's more than the Argonauts had last night in the whole football game, I think.
Second down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 22 yards to go because of the holding call or the sack, rather. They declined the holding. Jordan dumps it off to Craig Ellis, and he brings it out across the 42-yard line, and it'll leave him well short of the first down. A pickup of 14 yards.
There's your isolated shot of Craig Ellis. Compliments of Freddie Fleming as he slips out to the right side, and is the only target that could be found by Homer Jordan.
And we'll get our first look at the new punter for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Jerry McGrath. One more look at Homer Jordan's moves.
Now, I understand McGrath, as of a week ago, was a bouncer in Montreal somewhere.
Getting set to open up his own bar in Montreal. This is his first punt back in CFL action. It hangs up there, and the Riders will get called for no yards. A good return by Jeff Treflin. And he gets out across the 50-yard line to about the 52. The score is 8-7 for Saskatchewan over Edmonton here in the second quarter, and we'll be back in just a moment. Here's a look at the snap from Mark Ernest to the new punter, Jerry McGrath. That's a totally new combination for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and McGrath would have liked to have done better. That one really tailed off on him. It was only a 32-yard punt and a 16-yard return.
There's an interested observer, Terry Leschuk himself, the punter of Saskatchewan, injured in the Ottawa game. He's out for about 4 weeks, Dale, I understand, with that leg ligament problem.
I think it may even be longer than 4 weeks, Frank. They're talking he could be gone for at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Looks like you got a pretty good seat, though.
It's first down for the Eskimos. The ball at their own 53-yard line. Drop play to Larry Cowan. He turns it upfield and has a gain of 2 yards before he's pushed back. Eddie Lowe, number 42, defensively for Saskatchewan.
Bill, how would you like to see this coming at you? Big Bill Stevenson pulls back and traps on that play, going to his left side. He's 295 pounds. If he's bearing down on you, you got to know it. All of a sudden the clouds become and the sun disappears.
That was Billy Jackson. He put the block on. Second down and about 8. Donegan, lots of time, and he's going deep again to the speedster Chris Woods, and he just overthrows him. The Riders had one like that in the opening quarter, and now it's Eskimos' turn. And he was in behind the newcomer, Bruce Miller. Donegan had completed 6 in a row up until that one.
Well, he said he was going to go after those new corners of the Riders, and he's certainly done that.
Chris Woods may be the fastest guy in the league. I don't know anybody that's flat out faster than he is.
Well, he's spectacular when he's running back those kicks.
Third down and 8, and the Eskimos are punting. Saskatchewan peels off to set up the blocking on the punt return. It bounces to Stu Fraser at the 11, and there's no blocking there at all as the Eskimos are downfield, quickly led by Rod Knopf. No return after a 44-yard punt. It's 8-7 Saskatchewan leading. We'll be right back. Out his 6th major of the season. Riders with the edge in offensive yardage and first downs. Very close ball game, though, really, the way it's gone. Both teams have only had to punt once. Both have put a touchdown up. Riders missed on a field goal attempt and got the single, and that's the difference.
And an excellent crowd here at Commonwealth Stadium enjoying a very entertaining football game.
In the neighborhood of 50,000. We'll get the official count later. Right now, it's Saskatchewan first down from their own 12-yard line. Homer Jordan was looking for Denny Ferdinand. Now he finds him. Ferdinand makes the catch and very close to a first down. When Homer was looking for him initially, I think Ferdinand got lost in traffic, and then Jordan was able to buy a little more time.
Well, I think he got caught up in the outside there. It was, I believe, Stuart Hill who was laying back with him, and finally when Hill decided to pressure the quarterback, Ferdinand did the right thing and kept his eye on the quarterback and helped him out. First down, and an important one for the Riders.
Denny Ferdinand, the former Concord. When you look at Jordan's stats so far in this first half, not a bad first half. First down, Riders. The pitch to Craig Ellis. Good defense that time by Dave McNeil. He got in there and destroyed the blocking and got a piece of the ball carrier.
Well, Freddie Fleming had McNeil isolated once again. How do you do that every time, Freddie? Watch McNeil come in there. He actually gets blocked on the play, but he stuffs it right at the line of scrimmage, and there's no place at all for Craig to go. Good play.
Well, it's a loss of about 1 yard. Special teams player, 3 games now for the Eskimos. That's Dave McNeil. Does a pretty good job as a regular linebacker. Now Homer Jordan airs it out, looking for Michael Elarms. He's got him at the 30-yard line. Great catch by Michael Elarms as he extended himself right at the last possible second to make that catch. A huge gain for Saskatchewan of 63 yards.
I don't know, but Freddie's got this one isolated again, this time on Hall. And this ball is just thrown absolutely as far as it could be thrown, and excellent speed because little Darrell Hall is very quick himself.
Elarms did a little hesitation there and got Hall to turn back and look for the ball, and then Elarms took off again and made the catch.
Boy, oh boy, did that ever get them out of their own end of the field in a big hurry. Whoa, 63 yards. We've got an offensive football game.
That's the biggest play of the season for the Riders from scrimmage. Jordan with good protection and then finds Craig Ellis one-on-one with the linebacker, and Stuart Hill does a great job of hauling him down at the 15-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 23, so he picks up 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
Well, Hill did do a very, very good job, Dale, as you said, because he could not get any closer to Ellis. Ellis would have went behind him. So he had to time out that move toward the receiver. The gain is about 8.5 yards. The Saskatchewan's on the move again. They're just inside the 15-yard line of the Eskimos.
Homer Jordan impressed me so far tonight with his ability to check off and find that release valve, find Craig Ellis. And he hands off to Craig Ellis on 2nd down and 2. He'll be close. Should have enough for the first down. Mark Jackson got up there to get a piece of him.
This could be very important, Dale, as well, because that first down is going to be about the 12.5-yard line, so they can make a first down without scoring. There's Joe Powpow, the injured quarterback, helping out his normal backup man, Homer Jordan. It's been a very strange year for those two, hasn't it? Homer Jordan coming into camp, almost given the #1 spot, injured in preseason, and then Joe Powpow came in there, looked like the all-everything quarterback for the first 5 games.
Averaging almost 400 yards a game passing. Jordan puts it up for Stephon Jones. Knocked away by Mark Jackson. Good defense with him all the way.
Boy, just couldn't have covered him any better. That's a beautiful play because it was a good play offensively and a good play defensively.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder why they don't use the last 10 yards of the end zone more. You don't see that many throws to 20 yards deep in the end zone, really. I mean, there's a lot of territory out there.
That's for sure. Well, you're trying to cover a guy like Brian Kelly or some of these people. You'll find out how much territory there is back there.
It's 2nd down and 10 now for the Riders. Jordan gets outside, throwing end zone incomplete, trying to hit Chris DeFrance. Covered by Cliff Toney, and that'll bring on the field goal unit. That is Harold Smith, #9, the Rider backup quarterback tonight.
I don't think there's any possibility here that Jocko might fake this.
I don't think so, no.
I've seen stranger things. He does like to take a chance once in a while, as you saw early in the first quarter on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, well, Ridgway missed his first field goal attempt of the night, and this one will be from about 19 yards. You're right. Doing the holding, and Ridgway connects this time, and the Riders increase their lead now to 11-7. They'll take it, but I'm sure they wanted more. We'll be back in just a moment. CFL with a record of 4-3, and Ottawa will be featured on Friday Night Football 1 week from tonight, and they'll be hosting the BC Lions. 7:30 Eastern start on the full CTV network. That's the score right now here in the second quarter at Commonwealth Stadium. The visiting Saskatchewan Roughriders up by 4. The Eskimos with the ball, first down at their own 35. Dunnigan with a flag down. Steps inside, is hit. The ball came loose, but Dunnigan fell right on top of it. I believe it was Rick Moore who got to him first.
Dunnigan's just one of those guys, Dale, that can beat you so many different ways. That time, I think he did it with just a snap count. I think 2 or 3 of the Riders jumped before the ball was actually snapped.
No, the early indication is the offside Edmonton.
Well, it must have been an offensive lineman come up then.
See Cedric Kelly teaming up with Moore and Goltz, and the ball did pop loose.
If that's the case, I'm sure that the Riders will decline the penalty. Well, how sure are you, Frank? They're going to take it. It's 1st and 15.
To number 74.
I don't know.
First down repeated.
I like 2nd and 8.5 rather than 1st and 15. You know, if I was making that call.
So the ball's back at the 30-yard line. Riders ranking 2nd to the BC Lions in quarterback sacks this season. The give is to Milson Jones, and he has about 2 or 3 yards back. The interesting thing is about the Eskimos, they haven't lost at home and they haven't won on the road, but at home, almost all their rushing yardage so far this year, and they lead the league in rushing as a team, has been gained at home. I think 640 yards of the 883 yards rushing coming into this ball game were gained at Commonwealth Stadium on the grass.
Well, Milson Jones made the statement in the paper yesterday that when they do run the football effectively, they win. When they don't, they don't.
It's 2nd down and about 13 yards. Dunnigan looking for Rick House. And he had a big opening there as he got inside of Eddie Lowe, but the pass was just a little bit off from Dunnigan, and that'll bring on the punting unit.
By the way, the Saskatchewan Roughriders on that last possession drove the ball down the field 86 yards, so they've had 2 huge drives. Dale, I don't know if they've had 2 any longer drives so far in 1985. The first one, of course, 95 yards, which resulted in Craig Ellis's major score.
With a beautiful kick. Stephen Jones is back as a punt returner now. I believe that's the first time this year the Riders have used Jones in that capacity, and he gets it to the Saskatchewan 28 or 29-yard line, a return of 8 yards, a 52-yard punt.
Well, that's great coverage on a kick that went that deep.
Following tonight's game, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, the makers of the new 8mm Kodavision video systems featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. First down, Saskatchewan. The ball at their own 29. Jordan trying to set up the screen, almost intercepted by Danny Bass. Craig Ellis, the intended receiver, he was overthrown, and Bass almost came up with it.
That was not a good throw. There were a couple of Eskimos right where Jordan was trying to hit his intended receiver, and there was a lot of pressure on him as well. Looked like the ball was to Ellis, but just way over his head. 2nd and 10. We have 6:34 remaining now in this first half. Saskatchewan leading by 4.
Looking for Jones. He's got him. Cut down immediately. He hangs onto the football. First down, Saskatchewan at the 40-yard line. Mark Jackson with the good hit. Timing on the hit. 12-yard gain. He thought he might be able to knock that ball loose, but Jones hung on.
You know, there's 2 stats that you look at the Edmonton Eskimos. One is the fact that they've only had 15 sacks. That's the 8th best or 2nd worst in the Canadian Football League. And it's resulted in the fact that they've only had 7 interceptions all year long. And that's the 2nd worst in the Canadian Football League. Those 2 factors are very closely entwined.
Here's Craig Ellis again, and he has got another first down as Saskatchewan moves out to the 52-yard line. It's a pickup of another 12 yards for Ellis, who's having himself a productive first half. 6 receptions tonight. He came into the ball game with 44. That gives him an even 50 on the season, and he leads the CFL in number of catches, and we have an injured Eskimo on the play. I think John Mandarich, defensive end, shaken up. That'll bring... No, it's not Mandarich, I'm sorry. It's Dan Kearns. Well, we have a moment here. Let's just go back to last week's poll and give you the results of it. Should the CFL continue with a full interlocking schedule? Overwhelming result in favor of it, of 83%. Now, tonight's question. Would you like to see a 10th team in the CFL? And there are the numbers to call. If you say yes and no.
I thought Al McCann's suggestion or reaction to that was the one that I'd certainly agree with. Yes, I'd like to see a 10th team, and we like it in Palm Springs.
All right.
Particularly in October and November.
Exactly.
Dan Kearns shaken up. We'll leave the ball game for at least one play.
It's just like Palm Springs here tonight, gentlemen. Temperature is just perfect. No wind at all.
First and 10 Riders from their own 52. Denny Ferdinand. He has a gain of close to 8 yards on the play. 2-and-A. Making the tackle from behind. Ferdinand threw a bit of a block against McNeil and then slipped out into the pattern.
The Eskimos trying to rush with only 4 people, but they are not being successful so far. Look at Stevenson at the top of your screen there. Mandarich is a good rushing defensive lineman. He doesn't come anywhere close to putting penetration on.
That was a gain of 7 by Ferdinand. It's second down and 3. Jordan looking for DeFrance. He makes his first catch of the ball game. DeFrance stepping out of bounds at the Eskimo 42-yard line. It is another first down, Saskatchewan.
I'm just a little surprised Saskatchewan throwing on 2nd and 2.5. They've been effective running the football. But boy, when you get a receiver that wide open, you can't question it. Homer Jordan, a very hot hand so far this evening. His best performance, Dale, I think, so far in 1985. Wouldn't you agree?
Most definitely. Roughrider offense.
Was part of that huge crowd here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Much more effective tonight. Jordan got away from Stuart Hill, then finds Craig Ellis all alone. And it is another first down for Saskatchewan.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, you couldn't ask anything more from this young quarterback.
18-yard gain for Craig Ellis. Stuart Hill almost tears the jersey right off his back, and that's what happened last week in Ottawa. Jordan's number 8 jersey got ripped up, and he had to wear number 39 in the second half. Obviously, equipment manager Normie Fong did a great job of sewing it up because it's the same one that tore last week.
What happened to those tearaway jerseys?
That one held together good. First down from the Edmonton 25. Jordan, the rail guard, makes the catch. It'll be a short gain near the 20-yard line. James Bell made the tackle immediately. We have 2:59 remaining in the second quarter. The Riders on the move, and they lead it 11-7 over the Edmonton Eskimos. We'll be right back.
There's this last play, and Elgart just did a great job of hanging on to the football, but good reaction as well by Bell as he sees that football in the air. Watch the hands on Elgart, though. He just puts it away with one hand, although he's being hit. I don't recommend that.
That's like the rugby experience he's got, I'm sure.
What a beautiful shot that is.
Second down. 6 yards to go for the Riders. Jordan gets outside the contain, finds Ray Elgart inside the 10, down to the 1-yard line. Bell makes the tackle again, but credit Jordan with getting outside the contain and buying himself a lot more time, and Elgart was wide open.
Boy, he just has that instinct for finding the open spot. But you're right, Dale. The young quarterback bought himself the time He got a block on the outside. I did not pick it up while he got to the outside on the right-hand side. Elgard doing an excellent job of getting open. Once again, the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line.
First and goal, Saskatchewan. Craig Ellis takes the pitch around the corner, untouched for the major score. His second touchdown of the ball game and 7th of the season. Gives the Riders a 10-point lead, awaiting the convert. Boy, great blocking up front. They didn't even get close to him.
Well, Danny Ferdinand, once again, the lead block on the play, number 30. Remember, we were discussing a commercial break, Dale, why they didn't have Big Ken Moore, number 74, in there. They do put him in, as you pointed out, up at the line of scrimmage, but they have a lot of confidence in Ferdinand leading that play around the outside, and that's a good reason why right there.
Boy, another fine drive by the Riders ends in a touchdown, and it is now Saskatchewan 18 and
the most
Edmonton
impressive
7.
offensive display I've seen in 1985 by the Riders, without question.
I think outside of their opening game against Ottawa, I thought their offense was clicking very well in the first half. They were scoring some touchdowns and got defensive touchdowns later on in that game. But even though Pow was getting a lot of yardage passing, they weren't putting it in the end zone. They are tonight.
The reason behind my statement, Dale, really was because of the length of the drives. They've kept the football away from the Edmonton Eskimo offense just simply by grinding up yardage. Even when they didn't score with that 86-yard drive, moved it down and got a field goal, they kept the football so much. I don't know if we'll have time of possession for you at halftime, but it's got to be pretty significantly on the side of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Coming up at halftime in our ball game tonight, we'll have a feature on Greg Marshall, who, of course, was lineman of the week for his efforts last week against the Saskatchewan team. And Frank will be along with highlights. We'll take a look at the first half stats. All coming your way at halftime, and we are just 2:13 away from the end of the second quarter. And Saskatchewan set to kick off as they have opened up an 18-7 lead. And the Riders have piled up 330 yards offense to Edmonton's 119. Chris Skinner on the return from inside his own 5. He gets outside. He's got some room, but Eddie Lowe moves over quickly to bring him down shy of the 25-yard line. A 22-yard return after a 63-yard kickoff. And, of course, the Roughriders' next home game is their annual clash with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Labor Day weekend. It's a Sunday game with a 3:30 Eastern start time. And, of course, that is the culmination of a very, very big weekend in Saskatchewan. They'll start the weekend off on the Friday night with their annual dinner.
What's up, Doc?
All right,
hey,
Craig.
Hey, Don. Say hello to Dodie from Neil. Doing a great job out here, Dodie. We love you.
Pair of touchdowns tonight for Craig Ellis. Dunnigan setting up the screen, nobody there. Milson Jones, the intended receiver, had been knocked down by Jerry Friesen, and he's looking for some interference on the play, but there are no flags. It'll be 2nd and 10, Eskimos from their 24.
He wants a holding call, but Friesen did the right thing. Shooting linebacker coming in there, he just tackled the screen man. 2:02 remains now in this first half, an 18-7 lead by the Riders.
I think Al McCann might be choking a little bit over there. The Flames set off his fireworks on that second touchdown, and with no wind here, it is just hanging over the stadium. You all right, Al?
I'll tell you, it's dangerous down here, Dale.
All right. 2nd down and 10, Eskimos. There is a penalty flag down. Dunnigan looking for Sinkar. He's got him. He completed that pass in the first quarter, just over the linebacker, hitting the zone. But there are flags at the line of scrimmage. A gain of 24 yards by Sinkar.
It appeared to be Goltz offside on the play, but we'll have to wait and see if he was drawn offside.
That's one of the very few flags we've had tonight. That's why the game is moving along so swiftly. Here's 63.
Right you are.
Decline. First.
Eskimos take the gain of 24 yards. Their first down in the second quarter.
You know, but they can very quickly get right back in this ball game with a good drive here. They still have 2 minutes remaining with this football.
On 1st and 10, Dunnigan. Oh, he's looking for Brian Kelly. Just a little too far. Kelly had given Eddie Ray Walker an inside move and then was beating him back to the sidelines.
I'll tell you one thing, you don't see Kelly drop the football very often when he gets two hands on it, even though this would have been a spectacular catch. He's made many of them.
The Riders, as we've told you, are going with two young corners. Eddie Ray Walker, of course, has been here since the start of the season. Number 4, though, is Bruce Miller, playing his very first CFL game. He's already played 17 football games this season with Portland of the U.S. Football League. Second down and 10. Dunnigan, Kelly open in the middle. He makes the catch this time. And we're going to get a rough play call against Eddie Walker.
And it's a good call, too.
Walker went for the head as Kelly sets the new Eskimo club record, his 427th career catch, and a gain of 25.
And up on the scoreboard, Brian Kelly. Absolutely no need for Eddie Ray Walker to come along with that clothesline, and I'm very happy that the officials picked it up. Let's listen.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan number 2.
That really hurts. You know, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have been very good, as you pointed out tonight, by not taking penalties. That one hurt them bad.
First down play for the Eskimos. Dunnigan trying to get away from Eddie Lowe. He does. Turns it upfield and goes out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Great speed by Matt Dunnigan. Eddie Lowe's pretty quick linebacker, but Dunnigan got away from him.
You don't think that takes a little courage when you've got a very sore neck? Watch Matt take off around the right side. Lowe almost has him back at the line of scrimmage, but Dunnigan knows exactly where that out of bounds is and gets out of bounds just prior to being hit. It's 2nd and 2 now. 1:36 remains in this first half.
Stopped right at the 15-yard line, and he will not have first down yardage.
Neal looked very tentative running that football, did he not?
He didn't see an opening at all at the line of scrimmage.
Normally, back, if he doesn't see an opening, will go up and over, but watch Neal. He almost stops at the line of scrimmage. See right there. And
Doolin.
the Riders stopped them. It's going to be 3rd and about a half a yard as Jackie Parker decides it's time to gamble.
3rd down play. Dunnigan himself, and he's got a first down. 1:18 remaining in the second quarter. The Eskimos maintain possession. First down at the Saskatchewan 13-yard line. Dunnigan checking the plays that are taped to his wrist. For one of those wideouts again. He's trying to work. Now he goes down the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Larry Cowan at the goal line.
Well, he had everybody guessing, including us, Dale, because I thought he might go to Brian Kelly once again on this short side.
2nd down and 10.
Just an excellent football game. Very entertaining in this first half.
That ball was tipped, I think, by Eddie Lowe. He just got a piece of it. Two clubs at 3-3 coming into this ball game. The winner tonight moves into a tie for second place with Winnipeg for the moment. Dunnigan throwing back. Knocked away by Walker at the last second.
That ball did not have quite enough zip on it as Matt Dunnigan rolled to the left, turned back, and tried to hit the leading receiver in the history of the Edmonton Eskimos, number 70, Brian Kelly. Look at those moves. Eddie Ray Walker had time to recover and come out, almost intercepted this football. Boys had a tough night, though. Yeah. They've been going after those two corners.
So Dunnigan will hold at the 20-yard line. The field goal attempt by Tom Dixon, and he's only been good on 4 out of 10 this year. Good, 5 out of 11, and that closes the gap with 52 seconds remaining until halftime. It is now 18-10 in favor of Saskatchewan. As as Dixon connects from 20 yards out. And the Riders will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35. And they've been able to move the ball here in the first half, and they have almost a minute to go.
Well, we got to have close to 500 yards of total offense in the first half. What an entertaining football game.
Jordan is 18 out of 24, 295 yards passing.
Is that all right?
That'll get the critics off his back for a while, won't it?
Sure will.
Jordan gets to Craig Ellis, and he'll gain about 3 yards on the play.
Craig Ellis, the ball carrier.
Skip Hamilton in on the tackle, number 58. Now number 44, John Daly, was also around there. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Ellis now picking up 46 yards in the first half on the ground as well. I think that's very important, Dale, that they have been able to move the ball a little bit on the ground. That plus the fact that Jordan has been very effective in moving away from whatever rush the Eskimos could present.
And they stay on the ground. Ellis again caught by Mandarich and thrown back after he'd got to the 40 for a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 5 yards to go. So the Riders send the punting unit on. And we have 23 seconds left.
And the Eskimos call a timeout.
And the Eskimos have called a timeout. We want to remind you that Labor Day Monday will be at McMahon Stadium in Calgary as the Stampeders will host these Edmonton Eskimos in their annual Labor Day matchup. Note the start time, 4 o'clock Eastern on the full CTV network. Look for the big battle of Alberta once more. And again, a reminder of our halftime coming up in just a few moments. Greg Marshall of the Ottawa Roughriders will be profiled. And we'll also have highlights and first half statistics.
What a great football player Greg Marshall's been over the years. Defensive captain of the Riders. Great pass rusher. Defensive player of the week.
Had a great game against these guys last week. And Jack Parker standing beside Dan Runge. And here's Jerry McGrath to punt. The only man back is Jeff Treflin. Takes it at his 31-yard line. Treflin finds a seam and gets out across the 40 up to the 43-yard line. And that's a return of 12 yards after a 39-yard punt. And the Edmonton offense back onto the field. 14 seconds remaining until the halftime break. First and 10. Gets away from Rick Goltz. The ball is knocked loose by Goltz right into the arms of an Eskimo lineman. Leo Blanchard down to the 25-yard line. With 3 seconds left, they have time for another field goal attempt.
And that has to be one of the biggest breaks I've ever seen a ball club get. Great hustle by Rick Goltz as he comes up behind Matt Dunnigan, knocks the football loose, and it bounces right up on the second bounce to Leo Blanchard, and Leo knew what to do with it. All right, Leo, run with that ball.
Walker made the tackle, and the Eskimos now have time for a 33-yard field goal attempt by Tom Dixon.
That one's
Kick is good. And the first half in Edmonton comes to a close with the hometown folks getting excited because of the unique play by the Eskimos. The fumble goes right to Blanchard, and he sets them up in field goal range. It's now an 18-13 ball game in favor of Saskatchewan.
Well, I've got Joe Pow with me, a guy that started off 1985 like gangbusters. Joe, something like 342 yards average per game. What a bad break to run into that injury in the Hamilton game. How's the leg coming?
It's coming along pretty good. we've got another quarterback on the field who's doing an excellent job, and that's the key thing. It's all that counts is if we get 2 points, and that's the bottom line.
I noticed you and Homer are working like a well-oiled team, talking it over every time he comes off the field. You know what I noticed out there, Joe? He's doing a marvelous job, but he's getting great protection, too, from that offensive line.
Well, that's the key thing. If you can control the line of scrimmage, I think for a quarterback, that's a big plus, and Homer's doing all the right things with the right reads, and guys are working to get open, and for quarterback, that's a happy sight.
Well, nothing does a quarterback's heart better, I think, than those long drives, and Homer had about 3 of them that half. I'm talking 80, 85-yard drives.
Absolutely. If they don't have the ball, they can't score, and they put some fortunate plays for them up and got some good points on the board for them. But the key thing for us is just continue to ball control and move the ball, and we've had some success with that.
You're having a whale of a game considering the fact you guys have really been hit hard by injuries. A lot of guys hurt, and a lot of guys playing who are nicked like Elgart.
Well, the key thing in any team is depth, and we've got some good players that come in and pick up the slack, and guys are playing hurt also, so it's a key game for us, and a lot of guys are playing up to their abilities.
Let's say something for your defense, too. The Eskimos are a real good rushing team at home. You've stopped them cold in their running game.
Well, you know, you got to contain them somehow, but we've given them some big plays, but we'll come back and continue to put the pressure on them.
Joe, are you going to be back next game?
Yes, I will be.
You're going to be ready to go, eh?
Absolutely.
Good luck. Have a good season.
Thank you.
Joe Paul, one of the really good ones, and he'll be back in one more game. But what can you say? Homer Jordan doing a marvelous job, although it's now an 18-13 ball game, and anything can happen.
There was only one blocker there, and the 2 Saskatchewan players team up to bring down Skinner, and the Eskimo offense will take over first down from their own 20. Ray Elgart, of course, missed last week's game in Ottawa because of a badly sprained ankle. And you see trainer Ivan Gutfriend retaping Elgard's left ankle, and boy, that ankle doesn't seem to be bothering him at all tonight. He's made 4 catches, and you saw one in the highlights that he put down to the 1-yard line.
But the Eskimos didn't do that in at halftime.
Look out! Jackson getting to Dunnigan just as he was going to throw, and it'll go as a fumble. And Hekpache got the ball at his own 16-yard line, so it'll be a loss of 4. Take another look. I thought he might be in the throwing motion, but...
Well, that was quite a hit that Jackson put on Dunnigan. And don't forget, Dunnigan came into this ball game with a sore neck on the right side. I'm sure that Coach Parker and crew were a little concerned after that hit.
Dunnigan stays in there. Second down for the Eskimos, and 14 yards to go. Jackson again applying pressure. Dunnigan is so quick, but he can't get away from everybody. He can't get away from everybody, and that's who the Riders had in there up front. I think all 7 frontliners are up there.
It was Jackson that came in there from the right side. See him, number 45. He put the initial pressure on. And then you'll take a look at it right now. Here's Jackson, and watch the great move he makes to the inside to put the initial pressure on Dunnigan. Milson Jones supposed to be getting a piece of him there. Just too quick. Edmonton will have to kick out of their own end zone.
And just like the Saskatchewan defense did last week in Ottawa, in the 3rd quarter, they came out really tough, and they stopped the Eskimos cold here tonight to start the 3rd quarter. Dixon punting from the end zone. Jones had a problem fielding it. It took a very quick bounce on him, but he managed to get on top of it. Leo Blanchard pinned him right at the Eskimo 53-yard line, a 43-yard punt and no return. Billy Jackson getting that last sack.
I'm sure the Riders feel that they'd like to get that almost giveaway field goal that occurred on the last play of the first half back right away. 18-13. We're just into the second half.
Great field position for the Riders to start this drive from the Eskimo 53. Their timing just seems to be a whole lot better in offense tonight. Jordan couldn't find anybody open and dives to the 50-yard line where contact was made by Skip Hamilton, number 58. It is a gain of 3 yards, second down and 7. Denny Ferdinand checks in offensively. And Ken Moore will leave. Homer Jordan passing for 295 yards in the first half. Looking now at second down and 7. The draw play to Denny Ferdinand. He could go all the way. Denny Ferdinand has got a Saskatchewan touchdown.
Holy cow, 45 yards.
50-yard score by Denny Ferdinand. It was 2nd and 7 from the 50-yard line, and the Riders score a 50-yard running play, and I don't know the last time they ever scored on the ground from that far out.
And they have been so effective, Dale, all night long with the draw play. Neil Quilter absolutely made the big block on that play, the right offensive guard, and we're going to show it to you because he deserves the credit. He was blocking against John Mandridge, and what a block he put on him.
Dave Ridgway converts the 50-yard score by Ferdinand, his first touchdown of the season. Saskatchewan Roughriders now lead the Edmonton Eskimos 25-13, and we'll be back to Commonwealth Stadium in just a moment.
Block by Neil Quilter on 75, John Mandridge, the right offensive guard. Just turns him to the outside and opens a huge hole. Denny Fernando, I've been saying that for a few years, haven't I? What a great play. Yeah, he runs like Fernando. Fernando's hideaway.
The kickoff by the Riders. Chris Skinner again from the 5-yard line. He's up to the 15 and stopped at the 17-yard line. On the opening kickoff of the third quarter, he got to the 20. And there's Denny Ferdinand, a happy young man.
Easy for you to say.
His first touchdown of the year. And boy, he made a nice move, too, once he got into the secondary. And then after making a nifty move, he was in the open. Nobody was going to catch him.
Good speed, didn't he?
Sure does. The Eskimos start deep again at their own 17-yard line. Rider defense pushed them back last time they had the ball. There's Dunnigan. Old reverse to Larry Cowan. And he doesn't pick up much more than maybe 5 yards. Close to 6. Eddie Lowe got over there, got a piece of him. It'll be 2nd down and 5. They give him 5 yards on the play. Dunnigan with the running play wants to take a little heat off. That rush is fired up here to start the second half for Saskatchewan. Dunnigan keeps it himself, and he's got a big gainer. He crossed up the defense totally. Dunnigan stopped by Bruce Miller at the Saskatchewan 33-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can never count the Eskimos out while Matt Dunnigan is in at quarterback. Watch this. This is a called play. It's an option with Larry Cowan on the outside, but he saw the room to cut back, and what a huge gain all the way down to the 32.5-yard line for Matt Dunnigan, 54 yards.
And we have an injured Saskatchewan Rough Rider on the play. It's one of the linebackers. I'm not sure which one. It might be Cedric Kelly. Yes, it is. The Rough Riders' strongest area has to be their linebacking, but boy, they've suffered through some injuries. In the first half of the 85 season, Jeff Roberts went down in training camp. Then James Capers, who had such a big ball game in the opener against Ottawa, and he suffered an injury and has been out of action for over a month. Kelly's his replacement, and now Kelly's shaken up.
Well, what a beautiful play by the Eskimos. Just a reverse pivot out there by Dunnigan. Here's a look at it from the defense's point of view. You saw him start to the right side, a good block on Rick Goltz. The right guard, Leo Blanchard, and a good cutback by Matt Dunnigan right there. That was Fran McDermott that he cut away from, and Matt has got really good speed for a quarterback. Could possibly be a Carling O'Keefe game star, although the other quarterback has not had a bad night either.
Not bad at all.
You know, Frank, earlier in the game, Leo Blanchard made a pretty good run, and it's not often an offensive lineman gets to run with a football. Did you ever get a break like that in your career?
Well, actually, Al, I hope people don't think you set me up for this one, but yeah, I actually outscored Kenny Plain one time during the course of the entire season. I had 2 touchdowns to his 1. He caught me in the playoffs, so
You see what happened between these two clubs last season, Edmonton winning both. As a matter of fact, the last 10 meetings, the Eskimos have won 9 of them. The last time Saskatchewan defeated Edmonton was back in 1982 up here. Kelly's on his feet, walking slowly towards the Saskatchewan bench. And that's the overall record since 1949. Dave Ridgway, 3 points behind the top scorer in the CFL, Trevor Kennard of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And the top 5 in rushing in the CFL. Nobody from either one of these teams ranking in the top 5 at the moment. From the Saskatchewan 32, on first down, the reverse to Chris Woods, and he's got a lot of room to run. Great defensive play by Eddie Ray Walker, and he only got 1 yard. When he took that reverse handoff from Larry Cowan, it was totally wide open over there.
Didn't it look like he had forever to run? And we know the speed that Chris Woods has. I didn't realize Eddie Ray Walker was that fast. What a key tackle he made. Great offensive play by the Eskimos.
Woods gets hurt on the tackle here. He is still down.
But it cannot fool our cameraman from CFCN. Nice going, guys.
Well, if Walker hadn't got to him, they were getting good pursuit from Eddie Lowe and Glenn Suter. Riders have quickness on that defense. There's no doubt about it. You look at Chris Woods.
A perfect call in a blitzing situation, which the Riders are in. Watch Glenn Suter, number 21, come in on the blitz. He gets caught to the inside. Cannot get back to the outside, but Eddie Ray Walker saves the day.
Darrell Toussaint, number 21. As you look at Woods once again.
Dale, looking at Chris Woods down, Cedric Kelly was injured moments ago, as you know. Well, the big Saskatchewan defensive end is going to go back into the game. He bruised his rib cage, actually. Trainer Ivan Gutfrin says it'll be all right, though. He'll be back.
Chris Woods' leg was sat just as Eddie Ray Walker came in there with that hit. We certainly hope that it is not a serious injury at all. It's been an outstanding start of the year for Woods.
He just
his left foot is down there. Well, he's just got off the ground, so quite possibly it's just going to be a bruise, maybe on the knee or slightly above it. Considerable pain, but
12-point lead.
I'm glad that leg wasn't firmly set as that hit occurred.
It's second down and about 9.5 yards to go. Woods picking up half a yard in that last play. Dunnigan with it himself. Caught by Cedric Kelly, who's back into the ball game, and Dunnigan is going to be close to first down yardage at the Saskatchewan 22-yard line.
I think he's got it, and Matt appears determined to do it all himself at this point.
I was just thinking that. He hasn't had a lot of things going his way, and you see he's closing in on 100 yards rushing. He got 54 just a few moments ago.
Coming into the ball game tonight, he had 228 yards and 4 touchdowns rushing the football. He ranked 7th in the Canadian Football League. Finished 4th last year in rushing, and he's going to move up again.
He picks up the first down at the Saskatchewan 22. 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Saskatchewan Roughrider fans, and there are plenty of them all around the CFL, and there's a whole bunch here tonight. There's a lot of Saskatchewan football going on in Edmonton this weekend. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Larry Cowan dropped the ball. No! Wide open. He had beaten Jerry Friesen cleanly at the goal line. The ball was there, and Cowan just didn't squeeze it.
You know, Dale, it's one of those circumstances where it was just too easy. He was 10 yards behind the defender. The ball was floating up in the air. He just did not concentrate on the football.
You see Jerry Friesen saying, drop it, please drop it. And he did.
That's too bad for Cowan. You got to feel sorry for him on that one. Couldn't have had an easier touchdown.
I mentioned a lot of Saskatchewan football going up here tomorrow. The Regina All-Star Pee-wees are in Edmonton, or at least playing St. Albert, and the Regina Rams have a junior game up here on Sunday. Dunnigan on second down, lots of time, and he completes it across the middle. to Rick House. Tackled immediately by Fran McDermott at the 10-yard line inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Eskimos.
Well, that's when you have a veteran receiver that sees his quarterback back there, can't find anybody. Look for that open spot and become as obvious as you can.
Good job by House to hang on to the ball, thrown slightly behind him, and just as soon as he got an arm on it, Fran McDermott reached in there and tried to knock it loose. But House makes it a completion, 1st and goal from the 9. Quarterback draw, touchdown. That is Dunnigan's 5th rushing touchdown of the season.
Bob Lees, our head statistician, I'm sure will have it for you in just a moment, but I'd like to know how much of that drive Matt Dunnigan ran for. It must have been a considerable portion of it because he gained 54 yards on one play, and that one was for 10 yards.
Frank, the happiest guy to see that touchdown is Larry Cowan.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. 73 yards on the ground by the rushing quarterback in the CFL, Matt Dunnigan. It's a 25-20 ball game. Don't go away. We got 8:30 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Best scoring drive of the night for the Eskimos. They went 92 yards. Dunnigan getting 73 of them, plus the touchdown from 9 yards out. You would expect two teams tied in the standings to put on a good show. This one's even better than that. It's been a great offensive show here tonight.
And more good news for the Eskimos, Dale. Apparently the injury to Woods is not that severe. He did bang up his knee a little. They're taping it up, and the speedster from Auburn should be back.
Point lead now for the Riders as the Eskimos kick it off. And it'll be Michael Elarms from about the 9-yard line. Running into traffic at the 25. A return of 16 for Elarms, and Leo Blanchard was there to pin him after a 56-yard kickoff. So Elarms will stay out there with the offense. Looks like he got shaken up slightly. Walk it off. Big crowd, good ball game, and an absolutely perfect night for football here in Edmonton. And look at the yardage they've piled up so far. Saskatchewan now, 1st and 10 from the 25. Homer Jordan looking for Craig Ellis. One-on-one, and Cliff Tony makes the tackle at the 41-yard line. Good defense that time by Tony. Holds the gain to 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Ellis so effective on those quick shots to the outside. Almost an extended pitch in the offensive philosophy of the Riders. Get it out there and let him move with it. Tony put a good downfield tackle on him.
Play once more to Craig Ellis, and he got to the 39-yard line. I think he's within a yard of the 1st down. They're going to measure it.
Well, this might be a very interesting call for Jack Gata and crew. He's going to be about a foot short. I think he'll go for it.
I'm sure he will.
3rd down.
The opening drive of the ball game, the Riders set the tone. They went 3rd and 1 near the 45-yard line.
You know, your real risk here is not being able to gain that foot, but having the exchange done properly and getting that offensive line to fire out.
3rd down and about a foot to go for the Riders, just shy of their own 35-yard line. Homer Jordan keeps, and he gets it easily.
Homer Jordan with the ball. He's over the 35-yard line.
He got well past the 35, and they'll get another series of downs to work with 7 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Saskatchewan bench. Head coach Jack Goda to the left of the screen and head coach Jack Parker to the right of your screen. A couple of gentlemen who have been around the Canadian Football League for a long time. Joe Pow beside Jack Goda. Jordan steps up, finds Craig Ellis again, and again he's cut down quickly. This one was by Mark Jackson at the 40-yard line. So the gain is a little less than 5 yards on the play.
Now you know that a defensive corner is sitting back there in the zone when he makes a stop on a back coming out of the backfield that quickly. Man-to-man coverage, he'd be quite a bit deeper than that because the receivers would take him deeper. Fake to the draw, Ellis, and then dumped it off to him. What a great statistical story for Homer Jordan.
Jordan sprints out to get away from the pressure, finds Ray Elgard. And he does a heck of a job after he catches the ball. This time Delorier moved over from the safety spot to make the tackle, but it's a gain of 17.
You know, those defensive backs really don't know how to tackle him, Dale, because if they get low on him, he runs right over him. He goes up high, and he kind of just ducks down and shrugs him right off. He is tough to bring down.
Having an outstanding season. Chris Woods is loosening up at the Eskimo bench. Sure, he'll be back in the ball game. First down for the Riders at the Eskimo 53. Jordan with the rollout action and throwing deep for Chris DeFrance, and he was throwing into double coverage. Delorier was back there helping out Mark Jackson against Chris DeFrance. The ball, fortunately, was well overthrown, and nobody could get to it, so it's second down and 10.
That was one of the few times I think that Homer Jordan's made a bad decision here tonight because it looked like he could have taken off and gained at least 5 or 10 yards when he threw into, as Dale explained, double coverage on Chris DeFrance. Second and 10 now. We have 5:01 remaining in this third quarter.
Jordan effectively tonight with that rollout action has bought himself loads of extra time by getting around the contain. Second down and 10. Jordan looking down the middle. Elgard, first down, Saskatchewan. When you can't find anybody else open, go to the big guy down the middle. A 13-yard gain.
He just does not drop the football when it comes anywhere near him. He's got as good a hands as I've seen for a while, Dale. Watch Hill tries to take a shot at him as he's coming out the football, so you can see that he's got some great agility as well. Watch him go up high for this ball.
That's the other thing Jordan's been doing well tonight, too, is finding the second or third receiver in the pattern. Elgard 6 for 77. Gives the Riders another first down. Good protection now. Finds Craig Ellis, the short man. Sideline, called down by Stuart Hill at about the 32-yard line. It's a gain of 8 yards. The line of scrimmage was just outside the Eskimo 40.
Dale, you know one thing I really like about Homer Jordan tonight with these short dump-offs to Craig Ellis, they're kind of giving that to him, and he's taking it.
Exactly.
He's not going downfield, not panicking. He's been limited to 4 or 5 yards on a number of these receptions, but he says, so what? I'll take that and get Craig Ellis out there with that football. Once in a while, he's going to break a big one for you.
Amazing the improvement that Homer Jordan has shown in his performance tonight as opposed to last week. It's second down and 2 yards to go for the Riders. The ball at the Edmonton 32. They'll go wide. Ellis. And he looks like he's right at the 30-yard line. Depends where he gets the spot. It'll be very close. They'll need a measurement on this one.
It appears they're going to mark him a little short of that, closer to 31. He may well be short.
From where they spotted it, from here, at least it looks like it is short.
Like you got a little further than that, but they mark it almost a full yard short. But the Saskatchewan offensive team says, let's go get it. Jocko says, all right.
It's been working for them tonight. Short yardage. 31. Ellis drives to the 30. Now he's going to have to get a good spot here. James Bell, I think, got in there and got a piece of him, but he was up in the air.
Dale, he does not have to get quite to the 30, but the spot is going to be all important, as you say. Ellis going up and over. See where you think he got stopped. Well, I think he got to the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
If he did, it'll be a first down.
Well, the chains came out, and they have to go back and reset them and then remeasure.
He's going to get this one by about as much as he got that first one, maybe a third of the football. We have 2:39 remaining in the third quarter of a very, very entertaining football game here from Commonwealth Stadium.
And just as we get the measurement here.
That's the first one.
Oh, by half the length of the football.
Yeah,
no problem.
I said a third.
Here's our question tonight. Would you like to see a 10th team in the CFL? And the numbers to call. And a reminder that there is a 50-cent service charge for your call. And we'll give you the result of tonight's poll at the conclusion of tonight's football game.
Hello, Dale.
Yes, Al.
Watch out for something to happen right now. I just got the word there's going to be a very unusual play.
Well, let's take a look, Al.
All right, it's 1st and 10 from the Edmonton 30-yard line. Stephan Jones is going to try and throw, I think. You better hurry up and do it. And he overthrew Michael Elarms.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He didn't fool Daryl Hall at all.
I think Jones was waiting for Elarms to break it deep, and he never did.
Well, he tried to, but Hall held him up, and of course he can do that while the threat of the run is still there.
Of course, Stephan Jones was a quarterback for 3 years at Central Michigan.
Threw the ball pretty well, too. If he had thrown it about 10 yards shorter.
Well, there's a trick play that did not work. It's 2nd down and 10 from the 30. Quick count this time. Eskimos drop just about everybody off. Homer going into the end zone, wide open. Is Craig Ellis
across the line of scrimmage?
There's a penalty marker down.
I believe he was across the line of scrimmage, Dale.
Illegal pass, illegal forward pass. Jordan had gone across the line.
Well, we'll bring it back for you, and I think it was an excellent call by the official. The 30-yard line is where the ball was scrimmaged.
Now he's back at the 40.
Jordan coming over here. You'll see him kind of wait, and as he's waiting here, he's advancing. He can go across that one, but not the next one. We'll show you exactly where he cannot go across, and that's the 30-yard line, just short of the 30-yard line. See if he goes over it. He definitely went over it. Too bad for the Riders as an easy touchdown is wiped out.
So Dave Ridgway is into the ball game, and he'll be trying a 37-yard field goal. It is good, and so the Saskatchewan Roughriders now have that 8-point lead back that they had in the opening quarter over the Edmonton Eskimos, and we have 1:27 remaining in the third.
So far, the Eskimos can more or less make a comeback and get close, but they can't get ahead of them.
Coming up tomorrow on CTV, it's Wide World of Sports, and there's the lineup. U.S. Outdoor Diving, the North American Boxing, Central Ontario Windsurfing, Cayuga International Stock Cars. All of that action tomorrow on CTV's Wide World of Sports. And we have a wild 28-20 ball game right now here at Edmonton in favor of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Rick Moore almost had an interception. If he catches it, it's touchdown Saskatchewan.
Let's bring that back just for Rick's folks across the country.
He's trying to go to Larry Cowan.
Whoa. Work on your hands, Rick. Work on your hands. What frustration by the big defensive end. Been around with a few ball clubs, but having an excellent year with the Riders.
2nd and 10 from the 35. Down again to Rick House. Ball was behind him, but he makes the catch in front of Darrell Toussaint for a first down out of the 47.
You notice how much more control to rush the Riders are putting on Matt Dunnigan. He showed them why in the last series of downs. Good protection by the Eskimos and a great catch by Rick House. Keep this start of this drive alive.
12-yard gain. First and 10 Eskimos from their own 47. Cedric Kelly misses the tackle, but Dunnigan is finally stopped at the 53-yard line, and I'm amazed Kelly even got in position to make a tackle. He was knocked down twice by blockers.
That's exactly right. Take a look at him. Cedric Kelly right here, obviously trying to provide the containment to the outside, and they got both backs coming in there taking a shot at him. Lumsden, I believe, was the first one. Matt took off with the football again. A familiar sight.
He got 6. It's second down and 4. Here's Dunnigan by himself again. He finds that opening, and he's into Saskatchewan territory to the 42-yard line.
I don't know if there is such a thing as a quarterback record for rushing, but we might see it here tonight. The gun sounded now to end the third quarter, but we're not sure it has ended. It cannot, of course, end on a penalty.
I don't think there was one, was there?
Well, we haven't seen a signal yet. The official's still conferring, and we have not seen a signal if the quarter's over.
15-yard gain for Dunnigan, another Eskimo first down, and they'll change ends because the third quarter has come to a close. It is Saskatchewan 28 and Edmonton 20. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment. Play of the fourth quarter. Dunnigan goes to Neil Lumsden, and he could not hang on to the football, and now we have a flag down in the offensive backfield. And let's see what the call is. It's roughing the passer, Saskatchewan. Whoa, on first and 10 from the 42.
Yeah, my attention had been out to Neil Lumsden, so I don't know who it was. I think it came from the backside. Well, it was Rick Moore called on that one, who just missed an interception a moment ago. Now he's given the Eskimos excellent field position. There's your Chevy stats, 3/4 of the way through the ballgame. Only one turnover, but a big offensive football game. Almost 750 yards by these two ball clubs.
First and 10 Eskimos. The ball at the Saskatchewan 27. Riders lead 28-20. Dunnigan goes into the end zone. Nobody there. Brian Kelly was on the outside, and Rick House had curled up short at the goal line, and he threw it deep.
Good pressure that time. I believe it was Eddie Lowe from that inside linebacking spot, number 42. And Matt goes back to the wrist to see what he'd like to call the next play.
See what he comes up with here. This situation is second down and 10 from the 27. Eddie Lowe, veteran linebacker of the Riders. Good protection. Going for Kelly. Edmonton.
Well, I'll tell you what, that took a lot of courage by Matt Dunnigan, because he knew he was going to take a shot from Cedric Kelly. Watch coming from the left side. Well, Matt took it right up high where his injury was, and Brian Kelly catches the second touchdown pass of this ball game, 27 yards.
Watch Dunnigan. He just gets rid of the football, and here comes Kelly.
You got to know he could see that with his peripheral vision. A courageous performance by Matt Dunnigan, and he has really kept the Eskimos in this ball game.
And they will go for two to tie it up. Now 28-26. Dunnigan waiting. Throws. Catch Brian Kelly. There's a penalty flag down. There is a penalty flag down. It looks like it may be called back.
What a great throw and a great catch, though, was it? I mean, Kelly got to the corner of the end zone right at the flag, and the throw is absolutely perfect. It's going to be negated because of a penalty, but I'd like to see that again. Just an excellent throw by Dunnigan. Again, under pressure from the Riders, Kelly, who had a hand on him at one point in time, as you can see. But watch this throw. Dead on the run. Absolutely perfect.
Unfortunately, wiped out by a holding call. That would have tied the game up at 28-28. Now Tom Dixon is in. You never know with Dunnigan doing the holding. He may still try for two. Onward attempt will come from the 22-yard line. It is good. It is now Saskatchewan 28 and Edmonton 27. We'll be back with more fourth quarter action in a moment. Tonight, we'll have more Friday night football action on CTV when the BC Lions visit the Ottawa Roughriders. 7:30 start Eastern time.
Our Eastern crew will be doing that game. Pat Marsden, Lee Pedersen, Bill Stevenson. Good luck to you guys in Ottawa.
Here's Dixon's kickoff. Elarms on the far side from the 8-yard line. Stop at the 20.
Well, excellent coverage by both of these teams on the kicking game. 14 minutes remain now, and Homer Jordan's led Saskatchewan Roughriders have had an explosive offensive football game, but they lead by only 1 point.
It's been close all the way. 8-7 at the end of the first quarter for the Riders, 18-13 at halftime, and 28-20 at the end of three-quarter time. The Riders have held the lead all the way. Now it's a slim 1 point. Homer Jordan on first down from the 20. He is caught for a loss at the 19-yard line. Manners was there along with Daly.
I don't know if it's the case or not, Dale, because I haven't seen the times on the two of them, but Homer Jordan, I don't think, has the foot speed that Matt Dunnigan does. Do you think?
I would not think so. Maybe once Homer gets rolling, they might be almost equal in speed, but Dunnigan has such great quickness. In close quarters, I mean, he can get away from a lot of people.
That is not a knock, by the way, on Homer Jordan. He's had a great, great evening.
It's second down and 11 for the Riders from their own 19. Looking for Elgard, and that one was thrown just too high for Elgard to get up there for it. So the Eskimo defense does its job, and the Riders will have to punt. There is an Eskimo injured on the play. I think it's Skip Hamilton. That's who it is. Skip Hamilton, number 58.
Took a couple of receivers very close to each other, but regardless, Elgard's going to have a bunch of folks around him. The France awfully close to him there, as you can see.
If Hamilton goes out, I would imagine they would then insert Mandarich at nose tackle, moving him over from his defensive end spot and put Danny Kearns in the ballgame, Frank.
But I don't think, Al, as far as the pass rush is concerned, they'll lose a whole lot with that because Mandarich has been excellent rushing from that nose tackle spot.
Actually, they were very pleased with Mandarich's performance at nose tackle and were kind of saddened to have to move him over to the defensive end again, but of course they had to when they lost their nose tackle.
And while I have a moment here, I'd just like to remind Saskatchewan Roughrider fans throughout the province of Saskatchewan of the Roughriders 33rd annual dinner, which is coming up 1 week from tonight, Friday, August 30th, at the Saskatchewan Center of the Arts in Regina. The doors open at 6, and the all-time Roughrider All-Star team will be introduced in a Shenley type of award ceremony that evening, and it should be a great show. We're looking forward to it, and that's coming up next Friday night in Regina. And that is the Flame waiting to set it off one more time. And it's 28-27 for the Riders of the Eskimos. We'll be right back. 12 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the ball game. Riders lead by 1. Skip Hamilton is now at the Eskimo bench, and Saskatchewan will have to punt. This will only be the 6th punt of the ball game and the 3rd for Jack Goda's team. Jerry McGrath, the Riders' new punter, has not had a great night. And this is his first game of 1985. He hangs it high. Jeff Treflin fumbles the ball. It's loose. The Riders have got it. They needed a break, and they have one now. It was a 39-yard punt that Jeff Treflin mishandled. It was floating on him a little bit, and I think it was Scott Reddle who made the recovery.
The ball, you couldn't see it there. It looked like almost like a knuckleball coming down to Jeff, and he could not handle it.
That is 69, Scott Reddle making the recovery. The Riders are 1st and 10 at their own 54-yard line. What a big play for them.
Or was it ever, because Edmonton would have been in a position to at least tie this football game with 1 first out.
Denny Ferdinand. Another good run by Denny Ferdinand to the Eskimo 35-yard line. He ran 150 yards for a touchdown earlier.
He only averages 35 yards a carry on that play. That was 20 yards. Look at all that going up in there, picking up Danny Bass. Great block by the veteran offensive guard, 44, Roger Aldag.
I think the 2 big plays that Ferdinand's had, Frank, I think the Eskimos are thinking run, but if they're saying if the Riders are running, it's Ellis with the ball, and they're not even looking for Ferdinand. First down, Riders. Penalty marker is down. Homer in trouble, and he shouldn't have thrown it, even though it goes incomplete.
Once again, he had 2 receivers right together.
Procedure against the Riders.
He had Alarms and Ellis right together. That obviously was not the pattern call. Very fortunate that they didn't have that ball picked up. A motion call, a procedure call against the Riders is refused, so it'll be 2nd and 10 from Eskimo 35-yard line.
Jack Goda and Joe Powpow both yelling at Homer Jordan the next play he should call. Sounded like it was 7:76. We'll see what that is. It's 2nd down and 10. Jordan. Oh, wide open is Stefan Jones. He had a little trouble with it, but he managed to hang on for a first down at the 21-yard line. Mark Jackson makes the stop, a 15-yard gain.
A good throw, just a little bit behind him, but Jocko was really pleased to see that completion. Homer's sitting back in there. Watch him, how he sits back in there tonight. Just like a veteran quarterback, he just sets up, delivers the football in spite of the rush in his face.
Jones wide open. And he's had a good night. First down, Riders. Jordan going to take it himself.
What do you have to do?
He's to the 10. He's inside the 10-yard line. He's got another Saskatchewan first down. He found the opening he was looking for, and good play by Homer Jordan.
I think he could have done that a couple of more times, Dale, this evening, and loosen him up a little more, take that pressure away from him. Danny Bass, the great middle linebacker of the Eskimos, limping on the play. He appears determined to stay in there as it's 1st and goal now.
No, it isn't. They've spotted it just outside the 10. Looked like he was inside the 10, but they really touched down outside the 10-yard line, so it is first down, but it is not goal to go. It might as well be for all intents and purposes. Jordan. Oh, his intended receiver was knocked down.
Against Bell.
James Bell has knocked Michael Elarms down inside the 5-yard line. And there is a penalty flag down in the end zone.
James Bell, the guilty party, 17. See if you can see him at the top of your screen. Well, there it is, where they got tied up.
credit Homer for throwing a ball in that direction. I mean, the guy was down on the ground before he even let the ball go, and he, I think, drew the interference flag.
Well, Arms was the intended receiver who was on the ground.
It's just inside the 5-yard line. It's goal to go for the Riders. They lead by 1.
The ball game now.
Craig Ellis has 2 touchdowns tonight. He has been stopped outside the goal line. Craig says, I was in, but the official right there marks him out at the half-a-yard line.
Dale, you talked about it earlier, how happy Jack Gata is with the blocking of Denny Ferdinand. He led the play on that one, and watch him as he goes to the outside, kicks outside while Ellis can cut up to the inside. They get down to the 1-yard line. Ferdinand really going after him.
Delorier saved the touchdown on that play by bringing him down, but it's 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. Homer Jordan keeps touchdown Saskatchewan. And what enabled the Riders to move it all the way down the field? A fumbled punt by Jeff Treflin. The Riders recovered near midfield. Then they take it in for the major, and they lead by 7 again, and looking for their 8-point lead on the convert by Dave Ridgway.
You'll see Jordan just going to the right side here, capitalizing on this drive, and the fumble off the punt. And little Jeff Treflin.
What a night for Homer Jordan. Bit of a low snap. Fraser gets it pinned, and Ridgway connects, and the Riders now have a 35-27 lead over the Eskimos. And the flame is set off once more, and we'll be back in just a moment. 56 yards the Riders went in 6 plays, and Homer Jordan put it in the end zone. All 4 of the Rider touchdowns tonight have been rushing majors. And Jordan has thrown for well over 300 yards as well. And they lead at 35-27. Jordan right now 359 yards rushing, or passing, I'm sorry, on 24 completions. The kickoff by Ridgway. Chris Skinner fumbles it into the end zone. Oh boy, he's going to be caught at the 5-yard line. He got out to the 6.
He had to run it out, though,
You betcha.
That was too important a point.
That ball really sailed on him. 67-yard kickoff by Ridgway, and the return just 7. The Eskimos first down, and they start deep in their own end at the 6-yard line. We have 8:53 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, a very important series for both of these teams right here. 8:45 remains in this ball game now.
See what Dunnigan comes up with himself. Been doing a lot of it on his own in the second half. He was looking to run it again, and the Riders were there to stop him this time. He did pick up a couple. Cedric Kelly and Eddie Lowe almost looked like he was going to pitch it there for a moment.
You know, Frank and Dale, one of the things that is hurting the Eskimos that might be going undetected by the fans is the fact they haven't got Chris Woods to run back their kicks now because of that injury, and they're having some problems, as you can see.
Well, they were definitely staying away from Woods on the kickoffs anyway. I think everyone that Dave Ridgway has kicked off tonight has gone to Chris Skinner. So they were staying away from that side of the field to begin with. But you're right, without Woods, you take a lot of speed out of that return team. 2nd down. Dunnigan is intercepted for the first time tonight by Fran McDermott. The defense for Saskatchewan comes up with the 3rd turnover of the ball game. All in favor of Saskatchewan.
What a critical turnover, too. I believe he was looking for Chris Woods when Fran McDermott stepped in front of him and caught an extremely good catch low, just above the ground. McDermott comes up with the biggest play of this football game defensively for the Riders.
If that's one thing that Matt Dunnigan may do too much of, that is throw interceptions. That's his 13th interception of the season. A big one for Fran McDermott, his 2nd of the year. The Riders 1st and 10 from the Eskimo 19. Draw play. Denny Ferdinand again. Still on on his feet, now being pushed back, and he has a gain of close to 7 yards on the play. He's down to about the 12-yard line.
You're right, Dale. The Eskimos are the most intercepted football team in the entire country. Boy, that one hurt.
It'll be 2nd down and 3. Stu Fraser, a late arrival into the offensive huddle. Somebody has to get out, and it's Elarms leaving the playing field. 2nd down play. Jordan, a great night passing. Craig Ellis has a first down at the 6-yard line, and that was a superb job of running by Craig Ellis.
And he's had a great night doing both, catching the football and running with it.
John Daly finally brought him down. 1st and goal, Saskatchewan.
Big difference here is that the offensive backs for the Riders have been able to run with the football some, and only Matt Dunnigan has been effective on the ground for Edmonton.
And as we said before, when they've won, it's because the running game has been gaining over 100 yards. The pitch to Craig Ellis. The Eskimos defense shuts this play down, and they knock Ellis back to about the 13-yard line.
Well, they went to the well once too often there. Just a quick pitch, a slow developing play. Although they tried to pitch it out there quickly, it was not quick enough.
Actually, they spot the ball near the 14-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and goal. A loss of 8 yards. 5:40 remaining.
Touchdown could have put this one away, but they got to get it all in one play now. Safety blitz.
Ellis is open. Did he get in? Yes, he did.
Touchdown.
Whoa,
One of the day for Ellis.
He just got in a 14-yard touchdown, and the first touchdown pass of the ball game by Homer Jordan, and that's for Craig Ellis is his 4th or 3rd touchdown of the game. Craig Ellis has 8 touchdowns on the season.
Boy, and he just reaches this ball into the end zone. Watch this. Oh, just over the goal line.
And Dave Ridgway converts it. Craig Ellis has now moved into a tie with Keevan Jenkins for the lead in touchdowns in the CFL. Ellis has 3 tonight. He now has 8.
And the important thing is a 15-point lead for the Riders. John Daly, the linebacker, just not able to get out there. Watch Ellis move that ball out with his right hand. We have 5:22 remaining. And the Eskimos have got to strike quickly.
Big night.
What's up, Doc?
Well, the turnover, the Fran McDermott interception gave the Riders the ball at the Eskimo 19. They took it in for the touchdown. Their 5th touchdown of the ball game. And who would have thought the Riders would score 42 points tonight?
Well, the Eskimos have not had a good year so far defensively. They have really kept in the ball game by a very dominating offense at home.
Yeah.
Not on the road, but at home they have been very dominating when they have the football.
This is the first time tonight Ridgway's kicked to that side of the field, and he goes right back to Chris Skinner with it. Skinner and Jones had switched sides for this kick return. Skinner gets it back to the 30-yard line, a return of 25. The Eskimo offense back on the field. We still have 5:14 remaining. You know Matt Dunnigan's not finished.
I'll tell you, the way this thing is going, I wouldn't turn off the set.
Saskatchewan's last 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter, the result of turnovers, one a fumbled punt, one an interception. The key for Saskatchewan, of course, is getting possession and taking it in for the major score. And there are flags all over the place. Dunnigan on the move. He's across the line of scrimmage now and has a gain of about 10 yards up to the 40-yard line. I'm not sure who was outside or who jumped first, or What's going to have his procedure call against the Eskimos, and they'll bring it back. It'll be first down over again.
Usually when you see 3 defensive linemen move like that, somebody had drawn him outside.
First and 15 now for the Eskimos. The ball at their own 25. To Matt Dunnigan back at the 17-yard line. So he'll lose 8 more yards. It'll be second down. 23 yards to go. Saskatchewan Roughriders at this point in their season in 1984 had a record of 1 win, 4 losses, and a tie after 6 games. Jack Parker's Eskimos were exactly the same at 3-3 and then lost their 7th game of the season. Right now they're trailing by 15 with 3:57 remaining. But Jack Goda certainly turned things around. This club for Saskatchewan looking to go above 500 with a victory here tonight. Second down and 23. Dunnigan looks, finds Marco Sinkar, and he's drilled by Eddie Lowe. The gain will be about 16 yards, and it'll bring on the punting unit. They're well short of the first down.
But Dale, as you know, living in Regina, the Rough Rider pride from their fans is returning in full force, and rightly so. This is not only a good football team, it's a very entertaining football team to watch. You'll recall the last game that we did together in Saskatchewan when they beat the Hamilton Ticats 33-29, if I'm not incorrect. That also was a very entertaining ball game to do.
Jerry Friesen a little shaken up. He'll leave the playing field. Brian Kelly with 2 touchdowns tonight for the Eskimos.
And setting the all-time reception record for the Eskimos, career-wise.
That enthusiasm for the Riders was waning a little bit after their performance in Ottawa last week, but their next game is Labor Day Sunday against Winnipeg, and you can bet there'll be a big crowd at Taylor Field for that one.
That should be a great one.
Big kick by Tom Dixon over the head of Fran McDermott. He's all the way back to his own 11-yard line. Wrapped up by Larry Ruck at the 15. 63-yard punt by Tom Dixon. And not much on the return. We have 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the ball game, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders with the ball back, and they lead it 42-27 over the Eskimos. We'll return right after the biggest crowd of the season here at Commonwealth Stadium on hand for this ball game tonight, 45,894, but many of them heading for the exits now, except for the Saskatchewan Roughrider fans. The Riders have the ball back, first down at their own 15, and they have a 15-point lead, 42-27, with less than 3 minutes to go. Big night for Homer Jordan. Gets away from trouble. Goes down about the 19-yard lines for a gain of 4 yards on the play. Second down and 6. Homer Jordan. Folks in Regina again of a very interesting matchup coming up on September 7th at Taylor Field, a Saturday night game at 7:30. It's an exhibition game between the Junior Regina Rams and the University of Alberta Golden Bears. I think it's about the first time in 25 years or so that a junior team has actually played a university team. You look at Homer Jordan, hand off on second down to Craig Ellis, and he'll be stopped short, well short of the first. They'll have to punt. The game again is coming up September 7th at Taylor Field in Regina, 7:30 start. The Regina Rams against the University of Alberta Golden Bears. The Rams have a break that weekend in their Prairie Junior Conference schedule, and it's the week before the Golden Bears start their Canada West regular season. So the timing was right for the two teams to get together to play a game, and I know the coaches, Frank McChrystal, the Rams, Jim Donlevy of the Golden Bears, very excited about this matchup. Should be a very interesting game as you see Willie Thomas leading the ball game. Of course, it's a punting situation, so Mark Ernest is in to snap anyway on third down. To Jerry McGrath. Not a great night average-wise for Jerry McGrath, but his last punt was fumbled by Jeff Treflin. And again, hangs it high, drives Woods back from his own 43-yard line. We have a penalty flag upfield as Woods is stopped immediately by Marker Ness, the center, number 54.
It looked like his longest kick of the night, Dale.
I think it was 48 yards. We had a penalty flag, and we'll remind you again that the Carling O'Keefe Game Stars will be announced at the conclusion of tonight's game. And our stars tonight will receive a Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, the makers of the new 8mm Kodavision video systems featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. Matt Dunnigan and the Edmonton offense back on the field with less than 2 minutes remaining. First down from the Edmonton 35-yard line. Penalty against the Eskimos on the return. Into the middle to Milson Jones. He hasn't seen a lot of action tonight. Jones gets a first down out to the Eskimo 47, pickup of close to 12 yards on the play. Kelly and Toussaint there defensively. The Eskimos' next game will be in Calgary on Labor Day Monday, and we'll have that game for you on the full CTV network. Riders will return home to play Winnipeg on Sunday of Labor Day weekend. Dunnigan putting it deep for Chris Woods, and Bruce Miller, the newcomer, was stride for stride with Woods that time and almost had an interception, and gets congratulations from his former Southern Mississippi teammate and roommate, Eddie Ray Walker.
Matt really airs this one out.
It'll be second down and 10.
About all he can do at this point. 1:42 remains now. And the Riders appear cinched now to move into a second-place tie in the Western Division of the CFL with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and actually trail the BC Lions by only 2 points.
Lions, of course, play tomorrow night against Hamilton, and the Bombers play Sunday against Calgary. Dunnigan almost intercepted. I think it was Eddie Lowe who originally may have deflected it, or possibly Darrell Toussaint. And Billy Jackson almost came up with the interception. The Riders closing in on their first win over the Eskimos since August 29th, 1982. As you look at Dunnigan again.
You know, Dale, in the last 10 meetings between these two ball clubs, Saskatchewan has only won once.
Exactly right, and that was the game on August 29th, 1982, right here in Edmonton. Riders won that one 32-25. Toussaint broke the play up, intended for Rick House. Tom Dixon is in there to punt. Dixon slipped, and the ball rolls right out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So with 1:27 left, the Riders have the ball back, a 43-yard punt by Dixon.
Jocko's got to be very, very pleased at the start his Riders have come up with in 1985, 4-3 now.
And they're full marks for their 15-point lead here tonight. They got some turnovers when they needed them, and they took advantage of them. That's the main thing, and Homer has directed this offense very, very well tonight. They've scored 5 touchdowns. And the Riders keep it on the ground here in the waning moments of this ball game.
That is, I'm sure, the most satisfying thing to them, Dale, the fact that they were able to drive the football down the field and put it in the end zone. You know, they've been moving for a lot of yardage throughout the 85 season. They've been a very explosive team statistically, but not able to get it in the end zone that often.
The most points they've scored in one ball game since their opening victory over Ottawa back in the first weekend of July. Homer Jordan on second down and 10, and he just goes down rather than throwing it somewhere, and it'll be a loss of 4 yards, and the Saskatchewan punting unit will come onto the field. We have 1:02 left. Of course, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This is only their second game of the season against a Western opponent. They won their first one in Calgary, and now on the verge of winning this one up here in Edmonton. And of course, they figure they got to beat out Calgary and Edmonton to get into the playoffs, and now they'll have the Eskimos and Stampeders at home.
First time anybody's been able to beat the Eskimos in Commonwealth Stadium this year.
Okay, that Winnipeg at Saskatchewan game I've been talking about will be seen on the full CTV network at 3:30 Eastern Time, a 1:30 kickoff at Taylor Field. The Blue Bombers against the Riders. And the very next day, the annual Labor Day clash between the two Alberta rivals. Edmonton Eskimos playing the Stampeders in Calgary. And that will start at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Both of those games on the full CTV network. That's great Labor Day action because those are long-standing Labor Day weekend rivalries. Danny Bass leading the ball game. Tomorrow night in the CFL, Hamilton plays in Vancouver. And then on Sunday afternoon, Calgary at Winnipeg. So look at Jerry McGrath in his first ball game with Saskatchewan. Just got the call earlier this week. Fly in from Montreal. 5 years in the Montreal organization. Big rush by the Eskimos. One man back is Treflin, and again it carries on him a little bit, and he had trouble judging it, and he's caught immediately right at the 45-yard line. Marker Ness, number 54, the center, for the second time here in this fourth quarter, is the first man downfield to make the tackle for Saskatchewan. And I think certainly Marker Ness has really stabilized that long snap situation. Does a fine job tonight. And of course, he continues a family tradition with the Saskatchewan team. His grandfather, his father, and uncle all played for the Riders. Of course, his father, Ted Ness, former great center of the Rider and former CFL All-Star. Dunnigan just dumps it off to Milson Jones. Jones was all on his own after he made the catch, and he is stopped at the 53-yard line for a gain of 7 yards on the play. Second down coming up. We're into the last minute of play here in Edmonton. 49 seconds left.
Down by Eddie Lowe.
Well, the Eskimos in a hurry-up offense, but too little too late with only 45 seconds remaining.
Larry Cowan, the safety valve in that play. He makes the catch, has first down yardage to the Saskatchewan 53, but there was a flag at the line of scrimmage. Offside against Saskatchewan.
Is the flag of the play.
Moves the ball to the Saskatchewan 52, where it's first down for Eskimos.
Well, Dale, were you surprised by the ball game tonight? The ease at which the Riders moved the football against the Eskimos.
I really was, Frank. I thought if Saskatchewan was going to win this game, I thought it would be a low-scoring defensive struggle. I didn't think that they would come in here and score 42 points. And I'm pleasantly surprised at the performance of Homer Jordan. Dunnigan was hit from behind, and the ball picked up by the center, Blake Dermott.
Well, Matt has really taken a beating out there.
Rick Moore.
Come back for more. Watch this hit in the back. Perfectly legal, obviously, but Matt, who has run with the football so effectively all night long, no chance at all. Rick Moore getting to him once again.
Looking for Marco Sinkar. He's got him at the Saskatchewan 25-yard line. And that gain is 31 yards for the Eskimos with 20 seconds remaining. Almost looked like Dan Runge was the intended receiver, and Sinkar almost came out of nowhere and made the catch. First down, Dunnigan throws down the middle. It is caught by Rick House at the 5-yard line.
A very effective drive, but of course partially because the Rider defense is just laying back and letting Dunnigan hit underneath. 13 seconds remain now.
And now we have a shaken up player. I think it's Jerry Friesen again. He left the ball game a little bit earlier in the fourth quarter. Appears to have something wrong with his left hand or wrist. So he'll have to be replaced. And the Riders make a couple of changes defensively. Dave Singh will actually come in replacing Friesen. Scott Reddle has left the ball game. He was in for Rick Goltz, and Goltz has now returned defensively, and the Eskimos are looking at first and goal from the Saskatchewan 5-yard line. Dunnigan throws complete to Neil Lumsden for the touchdown. And we have a bunch of fans on the football field. Time has run out on the scoreboard clock. This game is officially over, except for the conversion attempt by the Eskimos.
Well, Matt deserves to throw another one in there. A great night for the third-year quarterback for the Eskimos. Just not big enough. Showed no signs at all of that injury.
And they have the field cleared. Tom Dixon ready to convert the touchdown by Neil Lumsden. He's good, and that will make the final score. Saskatchewan 42 and Edmonton 34 as the Eskimos get the major on the last play of the ball game. And what a performance offensively. Homer Jordan, Craig Ellis, Jack Goda, extremely happy man as the way his football club has won big here in Edmonton over the Eskimos.
Well, a great performance, really, Dale, by both quarterbacks. I thought it was one of the most gritty performances I've ever seen by a losing quarterback, Matt Dunnigan. He rushed for well over 100 yards, 73 yards in one drive, just rushing. And now the answer to your poll, would the fans like to see a 10th team in the CFL? Almost 100% would. 96-4. Are you listening, Commish?
I'm sure he is. Let's go to Al McCann with the winning head coach.
Well, thank you, Dale. I've got Coach Jack Goda with me. Jack, first off, congratulations. You brought in a real chipped-up football club tonight. You had a lot of key guys out. But what a demonstration. Your defense stopped the Eskimo running game, and what a job Homer did.
Oh yeah, I think that we had the extra day, you know, in preparation for this game. We felt that we had to come back here and win 2 games in Alberta this year to be, you know, in the playoff race and everything. And our guys are like Saskatchewan farmers, you know, they really work hard, and it's been a pleasure working with those guys and everything like that. And I just want to say it's a tribute, I think, to the veteran coaches that were on the club last year and the veteran players that were on this club last year. They got annihilated up here, and they remember that. So they really had a little bit of extra zing coming in here tonight, and it's a tremendous thing for our club.
Well, that's right. You hadn't won here in 3 years, almost exactly. You were coming off that tough one in Ottawa. Your guys showed a lot of moxie tonight.
I like the way they came back and came back and came back. I always felt like at halftime we just thought that if we had the best 30 minutes of football that we could have, that maybe as a team that we could turn the corner. Now, we got to get over the 500 mark, so we stay 3 in the loss column, but we're 4 in the win column. So that kind of sets things up really big for the 75th homecoming of our club, which is on Labor Day Sunday against the Bombers.
And I'll tell you, you proved to your folks in Saskatchewan you've got 2 quarterbacks.
I always felt that we had a tandem of quarterbacks, and it was proved tonight. But you got to prove it on the field, and we did that. Al, it's a great thing for our club.
I know you want to get in with the guys, Jack. Good luck. We'll be back with more Friday Night Football in just a moment.
And now, the Carling O'Keefe Sports offensive and defensive game stars as selected by our broadcast crew. From the Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback Homer Jordan, who threw for 373 yards tonight, as the offensive star. And also from the Riders, linebacker Billy Jackson, the defensive star. Each of tonight's stars will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, the makers of the new 8mm Kodavision video systems featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. This is the CFL on CTV.
Whippy, you were on the show, Homer Jordan, before the game started. I was talking to you about pressure. I'll tell you, man, you reacted beautifully. Over 300 yards again. A real good offensive showing for your team tonight.
Oh, yes, it was. And we needed that kind of performance on the offense. And, you know, the guys pulled together and
kept our composure and did the job what we had to do.
The thing you must have liked is those long, sustained drives.
Well, that's what we need. You know, I try to go out and have a ball control type offense, not get greedy and go for the bomb or whatever. Try to take my time and drop back, take my reads, and take what the defense give me.
Homer, again, congratulations. Super game. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Let's move over defensive side of the ball. I'll tell you, this guy, Billy Jackson, had a game at linebacker. Billy, your whole defense, I thought you shut down Edmonton's running game completely.
Yes, we shut him down pretty good, but, you know, Donnie's a good quarterback and he's a scrambling quarterback, and it's hard to contain him. You know, we had him wrapped up, he's, you know, escaped it some kind of way.
Coming into the game, did you decide you were going to try and contain the running game because they have won when they ran well?
Well, no, we knew we had a good defense, you know, running defense, you know, containing the run. But the main thing is containing Donegan. And then we did that a little bit, but second half came out and hurt us a little bit.
Billy, congratulations. Great game.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Well, the final score, as you can see, 42-34 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A whale of a win for Saskatchewan.
This CFL telecast has been brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you.